tired of doing it all, putting yourself last, and feeling not enough? If so, this is your podcast to spark love for yourself and your life. I'm Natasha Koo, and I'm here because you matter. And being naturally confident is your right. Let's say yes to ourselves. Welcome back. Here's Natasha Koo, and we are on the 6th episode of the Confidence series. I know last week we talked lots about abundance and how to identify whether you are in a scarcity mindset, because when we compare ourselves with others, what really happens is we begin to equate what others have relative to ourselves as finite. So we imagine that whatever there is to have in this world in which we wish to feel or have, we break it down and dumb it down to one pie. It is in the scarcity mindset where we really fight and we try hard and we compare and compete with others in order to have our share of the pie. So today I would love to share with you in this episode the key to abundance, the key to no longer comparing yourself to others. I'm going to be talking about the form and formless, the material and non-material. This might sound really ambiguous, but I'm just going to break it down for you, and I promise it'll all make sense in the end, plus totally empower you to see comparison, abundance, scarcity, all in a totally new perspective. So let's build on the episode from last week. So when we compare ourselves, what usually happens is that we see something. So we are observing something that is material. Usually it's something that someone has, which we can perceive right away. So whether it's a husband who has a better job, better status, bigger house, more children, handbag, whatever it may be, which we perceive to be more or less in someone else, it is usually something very physical, something really materialistic. But what I want to share with you is that most of the time, what we truly want, there are things which cannot be counted, things which we cannot put a number on. And most importantly, things such as feeling good enough, feeling beautiful, feeling abundant, happiness, connection with others, or our dreams, our aspirations. All these things are non-materialistic. It is usually not something which others can just see and notice and then be able to put a number on it and then start a story in one's mind about who has more and the quantitative side of things. When we compare ourselves with others, this is the thing which we usually forget. We are distracted in some sense by what others have. And it can be a very visual cue, like something which we can touch and feel. But from my experience, I know people who have so much, people who seem to have it all. And the sad part is, whatever you see does not actually equate their state and their happiness, because the people who I know who are the saddest, the most empty inside, actually seem to have it all in a materialistic sense. So I invite you now to expand with me into this topic of the form and the formless. And where I actually had my own experience regarding this topic is when I was building my business, The Feminine Space. And I am really good at making goals and setting goals and then making really quantitative improvements and tasks that I can focus on. And so that's, for the majority at the beginning, that's what I did. I set goals, I knew where I wanted to go, and I just every day would tackle this to-do list of tasks. But in the end, it felt like it was a little bit limiting, and it definitely was. Because when I was at a gathering and the lecturer was talking about the form and the formless, she mentioned how we are infinite, especially our dreams. It is infinite. Like a captain in the middle of a boat, and you look out onto the horizon, what you see physically is only so far, but in fact, there's much more beyond that, and we sometimes forget it. And when we forget how far we can reach and how big we can be, how great we can be, then we are stuck in the frame of comparing ourselves with others through this materialistic way and in this very materialistic sense. So when I started to let go more of the tasks and these goal setting, and I began to dream, I began to put onto a piece of paper what I wish to feel, what I want to create, and just truly from my heart, from this energy inside of me, the core of me, and then I expanded out onto the paper and I drew down what it was that I wanted, sparking love, sparking realizations in others, sharing my teaching, all these things. It doesn't matter how many souls I touch, I just want to spread that and to get it out there. The interesting thing is, after I created this vision board and this dream board, things start to fall into place. I no longer needed to focus on my to-do list, and if I did it, I knew that I wasn't making progress. In fact, if I let things go and I trust in my infinite dreams and I trust in what I cannot put into a test tube, then abundance flows readily to me. Because when you are connected to this place, you are no longer staring at that pie, which is very limited. It's a limited resource, right? And you can only get so many pieces from there. When I am connected to the infinite dream and to the formless and to the feelings and emotions I want to feel and in the connections in what I want to create, it is truly infinite because there's nothing holding me back except my own mental barriers. So I invite you today to feel into what you wrote down from last week's exercise. If you have identified yourself to have this scarcity mindset, I invite you to take a look and feel deeply in yourself. What is it truly that you want? If it's a certain feeling, if it's a certain dream, what are your aspirations? And feel whether that is something that can be dumbed down to a limited resource, like a pie which you have to share with others. Or is it something which just goes on forever and it's up to you how far you go with it. And it's also something that others may not take away from you. As I worked with one-on-one clients in the past, I definitely had clients who were in a rough place and sometimes they felt like they made a mistake. I remember very clearly working with one client. He felt that he did something wrong and that his son is no longer safe with him. But I asked him and I invited him to connect with his connection with his son. I invited my client to feel the presence of his son and his love for him, and how no matter what happens, it still exists. It's something that others cannot take away from him. And that is the exact state which I encourage you to feel into and expand into. Because when you are connected to this part of yourself, and you are no longer attached to the material world, to the physical world, to only what we can feel and see and touch, then a whole new perspective, a whole new door opens to things that was never possible before. And the comparison just becomes almost irrelevant because we can begin to see beyond what is just physically there. Do you truly, truly feel that you are just a physical, breathing, heart-pumping animal? Is that who you are? Or do you feel like there's more to you? If there's a heart that's beating and there's a type of energy behind your heart which you wish to live? And what about your dreams? What about what you want to express? Is that limited by the physical world? Or is that something that you can forever ever expand into, and nothing can stop you, and it's also nothing that others can take away from you. So I invite you to go through these questions and feel deeply and begin to notice the difference between the material and the non-material, the form and the formless, and just notice when you are comparing yourself to others and when you are in a scarcity mindset. Notice where on a spectrum you are seeing things with. What type of glasses are you wearing, which are filtering perhaps the infinite possibilities and the formless in this world? I will share a beautiful meditation to go with this theme so that you can dive deeply to this part of you, because sometimes we forget. We are so wrapped up in what's happening on the outside, what's going on physically, that we forget to get in touch with this infinite space that's inside of us. Let me guide you through it through a meditation, and feel free to find that meditation on the show note. Just visit femininespace.com/abundance. Fully enjoy this abundant meditation, which will take you to this place, which will just lift you way beyond comparison, way beyond the scarcity mindset. So with that, I leave you to it. Let me know what you think of this podcast, and also the meditation and all the freebies and the exercises which I share with you with each episode. Let me know if it has helped you, how things have shifted since you started listening to this podcast, since you've started to do the exercises. I'm always here for you, and let me know how else I can spark that light inside of you and spark that inspiration. I hope this story lifted you up. See you next week, and don't forget to flow with self-love and to ignite your natural power. Love you lots. Until then. You are not alone. Want to walk your path with other amazing women who get you? Join us at the Free Feminine Space Facebook community. Just request access at femininetribe.com. See you there.